Route 66 is made of asphalt, cement, and 100 years of road stories.
All right, the sign said road closed, but I knew I was on Route 66, so I should be okay. But I'm not.
Route 66 is such a great snapshot of the American experience from when it was established in the 20s through the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, through World War II. I mean, you had folks out west that used it for troop movements because it was a paved road and a lot of the others weren't at the time.
It's still the most important of those old two-lane roads. And a lot of it has to do with the geography, anchored by two big, wonderful cities, and all that terrain it covers on its circuitous journey, winding through all of 3 time zones, all the way out to the Pacific.
Starting in downtown Chicago and heading to the Santa Monica Pier, with all points in between influenced by a bridge.
So right now we are literally underneath historic Route 66, under the historic 11th Street Bridge, which is now known as the Cyrus Avery Memorial Bridge. Cyrus Avery, who's from Tulsa, said, you know, if we snake down and go through Tulsa, there's this amazing bridge, it's safe, it's the best way to get across the river. Other folks agreed with him, and so now that's why it comes down through Tulsa and Oklahoma.
But skipping Nebraska is not the reason Route 66 is America's most famous road. Is it because it has a theme song?
All kinds of folks have re-recorded that song, that anthem, Get Your Kicks.
Won't you get hip to this timely trip?
Is it the road's place in literature?
The Grapes of Wrath, the great book of the Depression and Dust Bowl, where it earned its name, the Mother Road. Kerouac's On the Road, very important book.
In 1990, Michael Wallace's own book, Route 66, The Mother Road, drove a resurgence along the route.
And then that book so inspired the folks at Pixar that we did our series of Cars movies.
Cars didn't drive on it to make great time. They drove on it to have a great time.
That movie came out and business on stretches of 66 went up 30%.
But the Mother Road has more than good publicity.
This road is a survivor, and it survived many incarnations along the way.
Today, the highway still attracts travelers from around the globe, even after it was left for roadkill by the interstate system in 1970.
And just because you take down the shields doesn't mean that those people aren't there.
The shield itself represents freedom, and that has endured throughout all of the different lives Route 66 has had. Whether it was an official highway or not, people still knew Route 66 is the way west.
To me, when I see a map of the country and Route 66, what I don't see are state lines, or county borders, or city limits. I see a seamless, winding, linear village all the way out.
The villages of America, connected by a strip of asphalt and bound by road stories. Our road story takes us through the country's heartland to get down to the heart of what matters most about Route 66. It's more than asphalt and concrete.
There's something about the magic of 66. It's still the most important of those old two-lane roads.
Our road trip will go through the heart of our country's heartland as we get to the heart of the matter.
But the only thing better than reading history in a book is going out and experiencing history firsthand. And in a lot of these communities, you have businesses that have been around 60, 70, 100 years, and landmarks that have been around for a long time.
Some 600 miles from the start of Route 66 in Chicago, our journey starts in the southwest corner of Missouri in Joplin, as we seek out a racing landmark that is vanishing at a blistering pace. A ghost mini-golf hints to the fun that was the Joplin 66 Speedway.
The battle continues tonight from Joplin, Missouri.
We couldn't get in, but aerial videographer Andrew Reddick has.
Since been the victim of several instances of arson and vandalism, so I'm sure it looks a lot different than what it did when I filmed it.
We're in the Show Me State. Joplin, Missouri, the Joplin 66 Speedway.
The battles on the clay oval still reverberate, felt by those whose memories won't fade, as easy as the Speedway.
For the people that grew up on Route 66, the places along the highway and the highway itself, it's a part of their fabric. It's a part of their being.
Toward the state line, we discover a place where memories were made the night before and probably not remembered the next morning.
This is the yellow brick road between Missouri and Kansas. And at the state line, it's Hogs and Hot Rod Saloon, where people have been hopping this line to get a cold adult beverage.
This is what a dive bar on Route 66 should be, and its lure is strong. But Kansas is calling.
Baxter Springs, Riverton, and Galena is right on near the Missouri line, and that town was a ghost town, and now it's been resurrected.
Travelers now head to Galena for a mix of Jayhawk pride and a glimpse of Radiator Springs from the movie Cars, and for a good reason.
That's where, on one of our research trips, I got out one morning. I took the crew out. We spent the night in Joplin, came over the bridge, this great sweeping bridge, and I said, let's stop here. And when I'd stop, the animators would get out and draw, and people would take pictures. And I walked up in this grassy lot behind this derelict building, and I saw a rusted out tow truck. I said, my, oh my, and I went and got the producer and director, and that, of course, is Mater. And they have the original Mater now, and these women have made a business out of it. That's real Route 66. We're very entrepreneurial.
The road also honors those that have cemented a place along this asphalt ribbon.
Signed by the voice of the sheriff himself on the driver's side door, this sheriff's car is dedicated to Michael Wallace for his hard work and dedication to all the small towns on Route 66. Well done, Michael. Well done.
The movie may have brought new travelers to the road, but the Scotts have returned to Route 66 for the second time in 12 years.
Route 66, like they say, it rolls with the land. It does. It does. It really does. And you can connect with it.
That connection is the opposite of Wi-Fi. The less speed, the more connection.
That's one of the big things for me on Route 66. It's slowing life down so that you do look around, see what's around you.
I think just being on the route, knowing the history, talking with people, meeting you guys, it's just to use an overused term, it's cool.
Kansas's 13.2 miles is not all roadside attractions. It's a window into the past.
It's important to remember that the Mother Road takes you back in time, but it's a time when things were closed on a Sunday. Everything is closed on a Sunday.
Leaving the tow trucks behind, one of the inspirations from Mater does work on Sunday.
A lot of him is based on Dean Walker in Kansas, on that Kansas stretch of Route 66.
The world-renowned Crazy Legs can be found at the Baxter Springs Visitor Center.
We have come here for the Crazy Legs.
I'm known clear overseas.
Is that because you dance? What?
No, because I turn both my feet backwards. Oh, hell with it. There we go.
Nothing moves except his feet, and they go around 180 degrees. And you can't believe it. It's like an optical illusion. And that's the way he's built. Now, as he's aging, he has a little trouble getting 1 foot all the way around, and he loves that because if I'm there, just for effect, I say, Michael, come on over. And I go over and I kick that foot and it goes, ah!
Now take in your toe, kicked into mine hard.
Really? Just like...
That's definitely a different way to get your kicks on Route 66.
Crazy Legs!
Yep. 30 cable guide my voice on the original truck going backwards in the movie.
It's because of this.
Yep.
Dean has now made a business out of being Mater.
What's your favorite part on Route 66?
Visiting with the people. The most fun is telling people what to see and where to go.
On Dean's list, the Rainbow Bridge over Brush Creek. the last Marsh Arch Bridge surviving on the former highway. Dean is the bridge's caretaker, allowing him the freedom of tall tales.
Would you stop scaring tourists? Could you stop scaring the poor people? Crazy legs. Come on.
Oh, you gotta have fun.
People are the road. You know, there's landmarks and there's things to see, but it's really getting to talk and hear the stories of these people that have made a living on the road and have lived on the road their whole life. That's the important part of the experience.
Kansas in the rear view, but it will be remembered as we get back on the road to Oklahoma. It's not a sprint on Route 66. It's a marathon through Oklahoma's tribal lands and Mickey Mantle country and commerce, leading us to the first major town after Joplin, Miami. You could take the interstate. It's quicker.
There's nothing more boring than going down a turnpike. You've got to find time to be holy, precious, and you've got to, just like Lightning McQueen learned, you slow down. You slow down a little bit, you know.
The adventure will wait in Miami.
You might end up tipping tractors. You never can tell. It's unpredictable.
No tractors here, just trucks. Monster trucks. It was not what I thought, but it was better than I could imagine. Just off Route 66 at the Miami Municipal Fairground, the Outlaw Nationals were playing to a packed crowd, and Matt Motorsports was driving the show.
We do all kinds of motorsporting events, monster trucks, arena cross, truck and tractor pulls, demo derbies, that kind of stuff.
The fairgrounds, which is a Depression-era public works structure, has stood the test of time. It has also paid witness to the development of this grassroots monster truck series.
This was our very first event back in 1981, so this is our 40th year here in Miami. So it started out as truck and tractor pulling, and then we would add a couple monster trucks as like an exhibition during halftime. And then before you knew it, it became into, we bring a dozen trucks every year.
These are not your everyday trucks.
Hey, is it possible for you to move some furniture for me?
Yes, this is my truck. No, I won't help you move.
This one's about 1,500 horsepower. 1,500? Yes. 1,500 horsepower. Yes, sir, 1,500.
This show, we have 13 monster trucks here, and then we also run tough trucks, a pro and a stock class.
This is my first monster truck show ever, and this is the only way to do it.
This is up close, in your face. Everyone's close no matter what seat you're in. And I don't know, they're outside so they can really get the air.
Maybe it's the fresh air. Maybe it's the real feel of community and country. Maybe it was riding with Sergeant Smash.
Get it! Go get it!
Or maybe it was the pure American ingenuity.
The Megasaurus, the latest in urban assault vehicles, and it's here in Oklahoma.
50,000-pound Megasaurus. It's a fire-breathing dinosaur that tears a car in half.
The only thing louder than the monster trucks was the cheers and laughter.
It's all centered around the kids. The ride truck that you just went on, that's for the kids. They love it. Of course, the dads go too, because, you know, they have to.
Entire families were getting in the act.
My 6-year-old daughter's here. My parents, my mom and dad are here. They keep an eye on her while I drive.
Meet Deidre Ballard, better known at the Outlaw Nationals as Miss Overboard and part of the monster truck family.
How many trucks do you have?
We have 5.
You have 5 trucks.
We have 5 trucks.
How many are here in Miami?
We have 4 trucks here tonight. My husband is in Overboard. I'm in Miss Overboard. My son is in Wildside, and our good friend is in the Black Pearl.
Man, I gotta tell you, you don't look old enough to be driving. Only 20. I get that a lot. Nobody's pulling you over when you're driving this thing and asking for an ID, though.
Most likely not, because I probably wouldn't stop. I'd probably just back up over their car and take back off.
No nepotism here. Mom and son earned their seat time.
I crewed on his truck for a long time, and I really studied, there's an art to it. It's not just jump up, jump in, give it all the gas you've got, and there's an art to driving.
Started at the bottom, cleaning, then worked my way up to crewing, and then finally got the crew chief title. So I started moving the truck when I was about maybe 15, 16 range when I first got my license, and then finally I got to drive the truck after one of the shows, and I've just been hooked ever since. Most of them start out racing something else, whether it's circle track or the tough trucks like we run. Some of them run Baja, but anybody can buy a monster truck or have one built if they have 400 grand laying around.
What's the final goal for Wildside? Where do you want to see this truck?
I'd like to see it as a world champion for Monster Jam one day, but here I want to get King of Miami. I won King of Springfield last week and beat the stepmom in the final round of racing on the last day.
It was him and I in the final round of racing, and he got me. That kid is good.
The kid's good?
Yeah, he's good.
Well, she says that you're really good. Is that true?
I mean, I don't like to think I am, because then I just sound cocky and have a big head, but I just like to think I'm just a normal kid, holding the steering wheel is all I tell other people. So I'm just amateur steering wheel holder.
Just a normal kid competing with his family in a truck with 1,500 horsepower.
When you beat your mom, how was dinner that next day?
Dinner, it was a little awkward. She didn't really offer to pay for it, so I kind of just had to use the company car with my name on it.
Depending on who wins, it can be a long ride home.
Oh.
Somebody gets bragging rights.
Still, it's all in the family on this perfect summer night in Miami, Oklahoma.
So we do this as a family. It was the perfect thing because it's a family event. Parents bring their kids here to watch the show. That's what we love about it.
Here in one place for one weekend. Big trucks, big engines, and big family fun. A MAP Motorsports event is why you take a drive along America's Main Street to experience a true American adventure. The asphalt artery that once was U.S. Highway 66 still pumps with life in Oklahoma.
The actual midpoint is west of Amarillo. But Oklahoma is really, I would submit, the heart and soul of Route 66. We have more miles of original 66 than any other state, almost 410. The father of Route 66, Cyrus Stevens Avery, was an adopted Oklahoman just like me.
I may not be adopted yet, but Reese Martin invited me to a birthday party.
There we go. Happy birthday, Vanita.
Reese, when you come to a festival like this, what do you see?
I see people that are proud of their community. I see folks that are proud of their cars. They've got a car show going on.
American car culture cannot be separated from Route 66. They are siblings born of the internal combustion engine and the freedom of the open road.
You've got locals, you've got travelers, you've got folks that run businesses. They're all intermingling together and all celebrating a common purpose. And Route 66 in and of itself is a common purpose, and it's the heart of these communities.
In towns like Veneta, there's always something more along the road.
Who's that guy?
Veneta is home to the Eastern Trail Museum.
I was born to ride. Born to ride.
Well worth the block ride, except on this accident waiting to happen.
How did they get on this thing? They had to sit.
Oh, they climbed them.
That is craziness.
Back in the comfort of my driver's seat, everything is not always comfortable on the Mother Road. Mother's directions are not always clear.
Song should be Getting Lost on Route 66. Getting Lost on Route 66.
This is not a particularly easy journey.
But the reward is great for taking the road now less traveled, like the blue whale of Tulsa. A gift from Hugh Davis to his wife Zelta on their 34th wedding anniversary. A 10-ton declaration of love that has been drawing visitors since the 70s. As people came, the Davises shared their marriage marine mammal with the public, and more roadside attractions followed. Today, the Ark, the animal reptile kingdom, is just a shell. And other things have changed.
No swimming, so unfortunately for the audience, no speedo.
But still, the blue whale of Catoosa remains, grinning. Along this great American drive, every traveler will discover their own blue whale. I did as soon as I got to the Mother Road Market in Tulsa.
Behold, the greatest car ever designed and built. This is my first car. In fact, it could actually be my first car, but it's in better condition than mine was when it blew up on the interstate. But enough about that. This is an AMC Gremlin, and this is a monument to American ingenuity right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We want people to experience that real America, where you go into a pie palace or a greasy spoon and you have no idea what's going to happen. You could get ptomaine poisoning. Or you might find a blue plate special that you'd kill your mother for. It's a roll of the dice. It's an adventure. The one word you should never use at Route 66 is this: predictable. Nothing's predictable about it. It's a work in progress.
We will progress through the heart of America's highway, getting down to the heart of the matter as Driven's road trip continues on Route 66.